Tazilon from Drop Top Tees. We're here today to talk about the yellow spanner or wrench service reminder light. And that's exactly what it is. It's a service reminder light. It is not a check engine light. It's not telling you there's something the matter with your car. Do not panic. It is just telling you there's one of 3 types of service due for your car. Now, to find out which one it is, because guess what? The car will tell you what type of service is required based on how you have the spanner light set up. So what you want to do, go over to the little Monopoly looking button, the home button, and press it down by the command button. Scroll over to the button on the far left, the one that looks like 3 cards with an A on it, and click that. Then scroll down to maintenance, press on that. There's the 3 reasons you might have your spanner light come on: scheduled maintenance, tire rotation, or oil change. It will always be one of those 3. It will never be anything other than one of those 3. But here's the cool thing: whichever one it is, there'll be a little yellow spanner light just to the left of that selection. And I shouldn't have pressed that because it's a touch screen. It'll be just to the left of scheduled, the spanner will be just to the left of tire rotation, or the spanner will be just to the left of oil change. It tells you on the screen why it went off. So let's go in here. I have it off. Say I want to. Say every 8 months I want to check my air filter and make sure it's still clean, or see if it needs to be cleaned or replaced. I just click this button to turn it on, scroll down the time, and I have the option from 30 days all the way up, 1 month increments, all the way up to 3 years. I can set whatever I want. In this case, I said I want to check my my air filter every 8 months. So I put it on 8 months and click now. Every 8 months, that spanner is going to go off and say I have scheduled maintenance. It can't tell me why I set it to every 8 months. I'm going to have to remember that myself. But I asked it to tell me every 8 months, so it's going to. Same thing with distance. I can click on distance, and I can go from 500 miles in intervals of 250 miles. And I'm not going to scroll all the way, because I can go all the way up to 99,750 miles. If you have some kind of maintenance you want to do every 100,000 miles, I'm sorry. Fiat only lets you select up to 99,750. I hope the 250 mile difference doesn't throw your service plan off by too much. Now, it's gone off. I want to reset the light. I've done my scheduled maintenance. I've checked my oil filter or my air filter or whatever. I want to reset it. I just click on reset. It asks if I really want to reset it. So I scroll over to reset and press, and now it's reset. The spanner just went off. Now, I don't want that. Say you have it on and you don't want to use it. Go to setting. It'll ask if you want to turn it off. You say turn off. Now it's off. It says off. It won't come on because of scheduled maintenance. So if the light comes on, we know it's not scheduled maintenance. Same thing with tire rotation. Exactly the same. You don't have as many options. You press setting to turn it on or off. It'll ask you, do you really want to turn it off? Yes, I want to turn it on, just to show you. Distance, same thing. 500 miles in intervals of 250 miles, all the way up to 99,750 miles. If you wait 99,750 miles to rotate your tires, I don't even want to talk to you. Most likely you aren't watching this video because you do not care about your car. Same thing on reset. I want to reset it. I just rotated my tires. It asks if I want to. Yes, reset. And I'm reset. Same with turning it off because I don't want to use it. It asks if I want to. Yes, turn it off. And now it's off. Now here comes the biggie. And this is the black sheep of the family, the oil change reminder. A very useful reminder. However, totally unlike the other 2, more confusing and more annoying than the other 2, even though it works really, really well. when you press on oil change. Right now you see I have it set to flexible. I can't turn that. I can't change it. Doesn't matter what I do, whether I press it, whether I beat it, whether I throw stuff at it, it is staying on flexible. Cars in the United States, I believe in North America, guess what? It's set to flexible. Live with it. That's the way it is, and you either like it or you still have it no matter what. It's just the only option. I think there's a few cars over here that you can change. Most of them, the vast majority of them, do not give you the option of changing it from flexible. Overseas cars, a lot of you can switch it out of flexible, and you can set parameters just like the other two choices for tire rotation and scheduled maintenance, to where you can select an option based on mileage, I believe on time as well, but I'm not certain. So the difference in oil change though is that there is no option to reset it on this screen. Doesn't matter whether it's flexible, whether it's based on distance or time or whatever, you cannot reset the spanner from this screen. Matter of fact, you don't even need to go into the infotainment center to do the reset procedure. Now I'm turning the car off because to reset the oil change, the car has to be off. It's a simple two-step procedure, and here is what it is. The start stop button. Without depressing the clutch, but just to be safe, make sure your car is in neutral. Without depressing the clutch, press the start button 2 times. That puts the car in on position. Within the next 10 seconds, depress your accelerator all the way to the floor 3 times. And when I mean all the way to the floor, I mean all the way to the floor. Not 3/4 of the way, not 7/8 of the way, not 15/16 of the way. You have to press it all the way to the floor in order for it to reset. So here we go again, one more time. Car's in neutral. Without depressing the clutch, press your start button 2 times to put the car in on. Depress the accelerator all the way to the floor 3 times within the next 10 seconds. That resets the oil change reminder. And now you just press the start button again 1 time to turn the car off, and you're done. Couple things about the oil change reminder. Because when it's flexible, how does it know? You didn't tell it distance, you didn't tell it time. How does it know? Well, here's what it looks at. It looks at the time and distance since the last time it was reset. It has no way of knowing when you changed the oil. It calculates it based off when is the last time it was reset, both in time and in miles driven or distance driven. It looks at the ambient air temperature. What's the average ambient air temperature? It looks at your driving habits. Has it been city driving? Has it been country driving? Are you accelerating hard? Are you putting the engine under a lot of stress and duress? Or are you the Sunday driver just lollygagging around taking your time? It takes all those plus several other factors into account and determines when it thinks the oil change is due next, and then the spanner will come on. Couple of considerations here. It assumes you're using an oil which meets the Fiat or FCA specification. If you're using an oil that doesn't meet that spec and might require more rapid oil changes, it isn't going to help you. It assumes you use the proper oil. So there's a whole nother video and a PDF I've done on that. Make sure you put the right oil in your car. Secondly, it calculates based on the last time it was reset. Okay, 2 different scenarios, maybe more. The oil light for the oil change reminder light comes on. You change your oil right away and forget to turn off the light. A month later, you turn off the light. Well, it starts calculating again from that point. even though the new oil's already been in the car for a month. It's not going to calculate correctly for the next oil change. Second scenario. The oil light comes on and you reset the light, but then you forget to change your oil. It is going to calculate from when you reset the light, not from when you finally remember to reset your oil. So if it's 6 months from now, you could potentially reset the oil. I mean, you could potentially do your oil change, and then a couple thousand miles later, the oil change light comes back on. You're like, wait a second, I just changed it. It didn't know that. It's calculating from when you actually reset it 6 months ago. And I've seen that come up, particularly with people who buy used 124s. I've seen that come out twice in the last couple months. Somebody bought the car, and 1,000 to 2,000 miles later, the oil change light comes on, and they're like, oh my God, what's going on? I know the dealer told me he did an oil change, and the oil change light just came on. Am I going to have to change oil every 1,000 to 2,000 miles? That's crazy. Well, that's most likely what happened. Was the dealer changed the oil because that's part of his procedure in getting a car ready to resell, and the oil change reminder light wasn't on. He never even thought about it. He didn't reset the light, so it was still calculating based on the last time the oil was actually changed and the light was reset. So you think it's like it's only been 2,000 miles since you changed your oil. Well, that's not true. The car probably thinks it's been 7,000 or 5,000 or something. So for best results, when the spanner light comes on for oil, it doesn't matter whether you change it right away. Whenever you change your oil, then that same day, reset your oil change light by the procedure I showed you, and it will stay in sync with the oil change, and it should be a fairly accurate representation of when you need oil if you're using the flexible. If you have the option of setting your own mileage or whatever, then it's going to come out to the exact interval you told it to do. So if you like the video, thumbs up. The little yellow button down there in the far bottom corner to the right, press subscribe. And come on by shop.spreadshirt.com/DropTopTees. Buy a t-shirt. We have shirts for Abarts. We have shirts for classical Lassos. And ladies, we have V-necks too. Have a good day, everybody.